Hello folks and welcome to the Vertigo Tea Party, and let's try Warhammer Regicide. It's developed by Hammerfall Publishing. You can pick it up for $14.99 on Steam for Windows. It supports both online and local multiplayer, leaderboards, Steam achievements, and Steam trading cards. I will be playing a free press copy that was provided to me for free in order to create this preview video that you're watching right now. Now, I'm not going to really show you any of the online multiplayer. I'm not going to show it at all. I didn't try it. I'm not really into the whole online multiplayer thing. So if you're looking for that aspect, this video is not going to help you out. I am going to cover all the A versus AI type stuff. So let's go ahead and start with the campaign, because I think this is what a lot of people at least will play a decent amount of. There's actually 50 stages in the campaign, so there's quite a bit of that there, and I'll talk about why that's important in a little bit. Let's go ahead. I'm actually getting a little bit further than this, but for reasons I'll go into actually right this second, is basically I lost my progress because I wasn't logged in at one point when I went through the campaign. Like, I didn't create an account, and so I just went through the campaign, and later on I was like, I'm going to go ahead and make an account, because you need it to access a few things like the leaderboard. When I did that, apparently it wiped all my progress at that point. I presume to keep you from cheating, I don't know. So I would strongly advise creating an account when you pick this game up. It's very, very quick, very, very easy to do. It took me less than 5 minutes, and I never even left the game to do it. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and hop down to this mission, because this is where we are. You'll notice the chessboard over here. You'll see why that is in a bit. So this is like an interesting combination of battle chess. Well, we'll listen to this.
It is time we reminded these aliens of that fact. Assault squad deploying. Strike from the skies, brothers.
Alright, so this game is like a combination of battle chess and a very, very, very light helping of XCOM. I mean, very light. Each unit. Well, let's go ahead and hop into it. I want to get right to the gameplay. So in the campaign, every map has a different layout, and it's always the same, not randomized. You'll always get this on this mission, and every unit is the exact equivalent of a chess piece. You've got pawns, you've got knights, you've got bishops, rooks, all that. And there's two phases. It's asynchronous. So I'll go, then the enemy goes. I'll go, the enemy goes. But each turn is broken up into two parts. There's the movement phase, which we're going to do now. Only one unit can be moved during your movement phase. Let's see. So you can see these are knights. These are our assault marines. As you can see at the bottom left, it says assault marine and knight. And especially this is useful for you if you're learning the game. You can actually switch the display. I don't find that display very useful at all. It represents pawns and knights and whatnot, but unless you've learned how the game has it set up, or maybe this is some kind of universal chess thing, I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But you can press it again, and now it shows you the chess icon. However, you lose the health bars when you do that, which I find to be a really big negative. But as you learn the game more, you don't really need that as much. You start to learn, oh, this is a knight, this is a pawn, etc. So again, as you can see, since these are knights, no matter which one I pick on, it'll show you the places that I can move to. And I'm not even going to bother trying to explain chess rules. I'm assuming that anybody watching this probably knows at least the basics of chess. Now, I can go and take this unit, who's a pawn, but because this pawn captures diagonally, if I do, he can possibly catch me next round, so we're not going to do that. Let's go ahead. Let's get our units to a more advantageous position here. I want to get this guy here. This way, next round, I can possibly take him out, depending on what his units do. So now we have the initiative phase. We've had our movement phase, which again, we can only move one unit. Now we have the initiative phase. If you look down here at the bottom right, you'll see how many initiative points we have. And because this is Warhammer, of course, initiative points are shown by skulls. And most actions take one initiative point or one initiative skull. And you can see on each ability here, it shows you how many they take. I'm trying to find one that doesn't take. Well, they're all knight, so it's the same. You also have commander abilities, which can be used. It's not by any unit, but by you. You can place them wherever you need to. And also, you can see, like, for example, this one costs 2 initiative points. This costs 1. This costs 1. And as you might imagine, when you run out of initiative points, it's now the enemy's turn. You can also just pass if you don't want to use all your initiative points. For some reason, you can just press this button to pass. So let's go ahead and complete this turn. We'll watch the enemy's turn, and then I'll explain a little bit more about what we're doing. So now we want to, let's go ahead. I don't think we can shoot, right? So, actually, I don't think anybody, okay, this guy can shoot. You can tell they can actually, or he's actually able to shoot somebody because, as you can see, the icon for the gun lights up, like it highlights. But each unit, pawns, knights, whatever, have different abilities. And again, we'll cover that in just a little bit. For right now, we're going to do a basic snapshot. He can only shoot this guy. 70% chance. Let's try to shoot him. And, of course, he misses. I seem to miss a hell of a lot of 70% shot. It's like XCOM all over again. Now, if you might be wondering why these guys can't shoot anyone, these guys are too far out of range. And these guys are actually blocked by these walls. So you do have to take the environment into effect. Or take it into consideration, rather. So nobody else can really do anything. This guy's safe. He's not going to get shot. So what these two are going to do, because we have 2 initiative points left, are going to go to the ground. You take a defensive stance and increase the toughness of the unit until it moves or shoots. And again, we'll kind of go over stats and whatnot in just a bit. But I kind of want to show you how a typical round goes. We'll call a round where I make my turn and then make it their turn. So there's their movement. It shows on the X here, it shows you where they moved. He used an AE ability. When your units have this little twirly white thing above their heads, that means they can move this round, but they can't actually attack or actually do anything. So we are in our movement round. So it looks like the best thing for us to do here, we're going to actually take out this guy, because this here, we'll select them. We see this is a Storm Boy, who is the equivalent of a knight. And of course, knowing chess rules, we know that he can't just capture us right in front of him. Also, and FYI, just to give you a better view here, we can move the camera around. You can move it so if you want to get a better position. I don't really find needing to do that a lot, but the option is there if you need to use it. So let's go ahead and select him, left click. So we'll of course watch the animation. That's probably one of my favorite death from above type things here. We'll go ahead and hit backspace. That will change the camera right back to the way it was before. So let's talk about a little bit about the UI, since we've seen a round in action. During the campaign, you have a primary objective, which in this case is eliminate the Orc Stormboy. Keep in mind, I'm very, very early on. This is like the 4th or 5th mission. So the missions are very easy. So all I had to do is kill this guy at some point, and then I automatically win. The secondary objective is eliminate 5 shooter boys, who are the pawns. So if I don't want to take this guy out immediately, I should try to take out 5 of these other guys so I can get the secondary objective. The bonus for doing secondary objectives is that you get experience, and you also get requisition points. We'll talk about requisition points in a little bit. The lose condition is for all of our assault marines to be eliminated. Obviously, these things change. Sometimes the lose condition is you'll have like a hero type unit who is usually a queen or a king. If they die, you can have every other unit still up. You lose automatically. So let's go ahead and let's look at his abilities. Now we're not going to worry about the secondary objectives too much. I just want to kind of show you how this works. Let's look at his abilities. Snapshot, which we've already done. Pretty much everybody has Snapshot. Every unit I think that I've played has Snapshot. Just a quick burst of fire, usually about 70% chance to hit. Also, that's important to note. We'll just press this just to show you. Well, you can only shoot one guy. know why he can't shoot him. Oh, I guess he's too close. It's always 70% as far as I can tell, unless you have a debuff or something like that. Distance doesn't matter. If they're within range, you have X% to hit. If they're not, you don't. So there's no cover outside of completely eliminating the chance for them to hit you. Hiding behind cover doesn't give you like 20% chance to hit or anything like that. So there is that. So let's go ahead and click him again. We also have Assault, a brutal point-blank attack for damaging adjacent enemies. Basically, it's a chainsword. However, one gripe that I have, and I consider this a pretty significant gripe, is that it should be a chainsword, right? I mean, it's a melee-only attack. However, he actually shoots at them, and I consider it a major complaint because in a game like this, the animations, you're going to see them a ton unless you skip them. So it should be accurate, I think. So anyway, go to ground. Obviously, we're not going to do that. That's a defensive move. Hammer of Wrath. Devastating assault attack available only after the unit has moved this turn. Now my unit has moved this turn. So let's go ahead and use that. And since we need to take this guy out, let's hit him. We have a 95% chance since it's a different type of ability. You can see he kind of zoomed in for a quick slice. Now that attack actually uses the chainsword animation. The assault doesn't. I don't quite get that. But anyway, so these guys can't do anything because, well, they got that debuff. So let's go ahead and use one of our general abilities here. We'll use Assail. Which is basically what they did to us, so that these units that it hits cannot do anything other than move that round. Now, I don't think your own abilities can hurt you. This guy's kind of in danger. He's got like 2 guys right on him, so we don't want him to get too much damage. So let's go ahead and use Assail right here. It only worked on this one. This guy resisted it, so it's not 100% chance, obviously. I like that one. It's my favorite. Daga, daga, daga. Alright, so he loses 2 hit points. There's also a bug I've noticed where if you have this, like if you have this on and do your actions, a lot of times it'll just disappear again and you don't see any bars. You have to, or I think actually I did that. That was my fault. It wasn't a bug. Ignore it that I just said that. But I'm going to put the hit points back up here. So now it is our turn again, ready to move. So let's go ahead and get another guy into position here. So let's kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We're going to move over, take out this orc. Nice. Now, of course, this guy is in danger from him, but I'm not too worried about it. I feel like we can just suicide rush this guy for the time being. I'm not too worried about it. Now again, notice that one ability, the Hammer of Wrath, is now not available because we did not move this round. And it's not available to him because, well, he is not in melee. So we are going to just use a regular assault, and you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. Oh, now see, he melee. Okay, so it must be the pawns. The pawns must not have the chainsword melee attack. Now let's go ahead and... Oh, he can't shoot him. He's... must be kind of blocked by me. Your units can block your line of sight. I didn't think I should be blocking, but apparently I do. Okay, so I can use the grenade though, which is interesting. I guess you're throwing it over their head. This grenade almost never works for me. It's supposed to lower their armor. I don't think I've ever actually had it work, despite it saying it's 75%. We'll see what happens. Oh, I think it actually hit him. Oh, and it did a little bit of damage. So you can see this unit is really hurting right now. And just for grins, again, to kind of show you how some of these abilities work, let's go ahead and use a heal on this guy. He heals up 2 hit points. And then after this round, we'll talk a little bit about the stats on the characters. Trying to kind of mix up actually doing stuff with explaining the UI and whatnot. So now it's our movement phase. This guy, for some bizarre reason, didn't take him out. The AI, especially during the campaign, I don't think you can control the AI during the campaign, which I find to be kind of unfortunate because people who are better at chess, I feel like, would probably want a bigger challenge. I have heard later in the campaign from reading the forums, it does sound like it gets pretty darn hard, especially if you want to get all the secondary objectives. So it may not be a problem later. But as you can see here, he definitely should have taken this guy out. There was really no reason for him not to, but he didn't. So we can actually win right now. And in fact, let's do that. We'll talk about the UI stuff. We'll do one more campaign mission. We can watch this Now, see, here's one thing. I like the animations for the most part, but there's not that many of them. Again, we made the primary objective there. We just had to kill the rocket guy. I forget what his orc name is. Sorry, Warhammer nerds. Warhammer's one of those things that like I want to learn more about, but I just never have. Saving online profile. You also have levels. The only thing that I know that levels do for you is whenever you get a level, you get skill points. Skill points allow you to buy skills, which we'll go over a little bit later. But you can only use those in Skirmish anyway. I also think progressing in the campaign and gaining levels also lets you customize your armor a little bit. I think I haven't got far enough to do that. So you can see the summary here. We didn't get the bonus objective and all that, which is fine. We're just going to go to the next mission. And we may or may not finish the whole next one, depending on how long it is, because I want to show you some other things as well.
Well done, Brother Theron. The psychic disturbance is growing stronger, more focused. It is jamming our signals. Throne curse these orcs! We must complete our mission quickly, so that we may reinforce Theron and his squad. Agreed. Blood Angels, advance!
Alright, so again, this kind of tells you about the mission. So far, the story has been that we went to this planet, and the orcs are fighting back, and they let us into this trap, and there's a psychic disturbance, and all that. So this is a capture type mission. We need to get on one unit, we need to get one unit into any of these squares. I wish, originally I wasn't sure if we need to get like 4 units in, but only one. So movement phase. We have, let's very quickly look, what do we have? We have 3 pawns over here and 3 knights. They have 2 bishops, what is this? Is that a pawn? Oh, I guess the icon's kind of obscured. And a knight, and the rest are pawns. So let's switch back to this. So obviously the knight's obviously who we want to get over there, right? Like right here would be good. Somewhere we can just hop over. But we got to be careful because there's a lot of orcs here, and even though you can make it over there, you might die. You might just flat out get killed. So this looks like a relatively safe spot to go to, but I want to get as many guys over here as possible so we can take a lot of shots. So let's go ahead and do this, and this will also let us use that hammer of justice or whatever it is on this guy. Initiative phase, of course, we are again going to hammer wrath this guy. That was kind of funny because by the time it zoomed in, the animation's like half done. You can see we did quite a bit of damage with that, 5 damage. These guys are probably not going to be able to shoot that one. I want to focus fire if possible so we're not wasting. Again, because we have pawns, you can see they have different abilities. We have frag grenade. Frag grenades can hit your own guys, so that you definitely want to be careful of. So I don't want to hit my own dude, so let's do this. Now, grenade deals more damage to the person in the middle, or the person you hit, basically. So let's go ahead and throw it in there. You cannot destroy any of these like walls and stuff. I wish you could. That'd be pretty cool, actually, if you could. But unfortunately, you cannot. Now, that beam is pretty nasty, but he missed, luckily. Did he actually miss? No, he got me. So again, you can see, even though nothing could kill me immediately, normally they get a bunch of attacks. But luckily, they missed quite a few times here. But we're hurt a little bit. Let's see, we got movement phase. If we can take this guy out now, because we can move one of these 2 spots. Actually, we want to be careful because if we move there, he can take us out. And if we go there, that guy can take us because, again, these guys are pawns and they capture diagonally. So that might not work too well. So I think that would just be a suicide mission. I mean, the AI can be pretty bad, but I don't think they're that stupid. So this guy can move here, but we'll just capture. So we could threaten him, of course, with this. And I think that's what we'll do. We're going to move this pawn up. And We got 3 initiative points because I want to heal this guy because I do not want him to die. Let's go ahead and melee this. I think this is basically a bishop, I think. Yeah, bishop. Those guys have the damage they can put out is pretty serious business. I could also do this and just hope that they don't kill him, because if that's the case, this guy would be the only one who can hit him. Let's try that. Let's see how many it hits. All right, it hit the ones that I mostly did want it to finish. All right, so he did just capture that piece, the pawn. But I still love that. What's funny too is if they're going to miss, they will graphically miss your unit, but sometimes the graphic can hit other units. It doesn't matter. They can't do any damage to other units. There's no residual fire in that sense. That just because graphically it showed to hit this guy way down here, it doesn't actually do them. We'll just say that was because of armor. So now it's movement phase. I keep meaning to stop to show you some of these other stats, but let's go ahead and grab this orc. And there's different animations for different captures. That's one of my favorite. So like a pawn taking a knight looks different than a knight taking a knight, which looks different than a bishop taking a knight, etc. So let's talk a little bit about the stats here, since I might actually remember. Every unit has stats, wounds, basically hit points. If they run at hit points, they die. Armor, that reduces how much damage they take. Almost every type of damage also reduces armor as well. So as you take damage, you'll usually take more damage as you go along. It's not severe, but it's noticeable. Toughness, I'm actually not quite sure what the difference between toughness and armor are. I think armor is your chance to be missed, actually, and then toughness is if you get hit, how much damage reduction you have. Weapons skill, I think this is what your chance to hit is, and then your strength is how much actual damage you do. So, and of course this is your abilities, and these are all your other. I'm just making sure I've covered everything. And up here you can see your opponent. You can see who he is. Not really a whole lot of information there to be had. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's try to finish this guy off. This won't kill him, but whoa! I guess it did. That's weird. He didn't die, or he didn't show an animation. I might have hit spacebar, maybe. Anyway, let's go ahead and heal him up because he's going to be shot a lot. And let's go ahead and tell him to get down.
Here we go.
Now, what's interesting too is that if I say go to ground, which again is the defensive positioning. If I don't do anything with this unit again, he will keep that bonus from round to round. Now, the minute I have him attack or move or anything along those lines, he loses that bonus. Now you see why I went to ground. If this guy would have shot him, he almost certainly would have. Well, there's a darn good chance he would have died. So we're starting to clear out room over here. But this guy's starting to get wounded a little bit. I really don't want to throw him away, just hoping that he doesn't move. I think that would be kind of a silly thing to do.
I stand ready. Bolt pistol and chainsword ready to strike.
So I kind of want to just move over here. Ah, man. I don't want to throw away a knight just to get a pawn either. That seems kind of a bad move. So we're in kind of a nasty situation here. Let's fall back and try to get rid of these peons so that we can actually come in here and do some damage. And you can also hit spacebar to skip through the animations if you get tired of seeing the animations. Let's go ahead and again, that was assault for the regular Marines. You see he's shot. I'd rather use a chainsword. Maybe there's a reason that you don't outside of technical ones, but I'm gonna take a chance here and try to finish him off. Oh no, he can't. So we are actually going to let's go ahead and hunker down and just hope for the best. There's also a shield that you can use which absorbs one shot from an enemy. So regardless of whether it does 1 damage or 5,000 damage, it'll absorb that one shot and then go away. So he killed that one unit. Oh, this guy's shooting at my knight. Alright.
Bolt pistol and chainsword ready to strike.
So now we are going to move and just take him out. I still think those guys generally have the best executions, though I'm a little biased because I just like the whole death from above thing. Let's go ahead and put a shield on this guy right off the bat so I don't forget, because he is low on health. You are going to shoot at this one. Did 3 damage and dropped his armor by 1. I don't think anybody else can hit. Oh, you can. You can hit him. We'll go ahead and do a little bit of damage to him. Why not? Probably not going to kill that guy anytime soon, but... And you can see we have a kind of a problem here, in that we can't just hop over here because there's walls on those landing spots, so we're not going to be able to do that. And now, of course, we're being threatened by this pawn, which isn't going to work. So we've got to move. So let's do this. Let's actually hop over here. Again, he's going to be in kind of danger. He has a shield, though. But I'm going to hop here and now use that Hammer of Wrath because it'll do extra damage if he hits. And even with 95%. Yep. There's complaints on the forums I noticed about the hit percentages. Now, this always happens. XCOM, every game like this that has percentages for hit has this problem of, oh, I feel like that 70% feels like 30%. Because we notice when we miss, or we notice trends in missing, but we ignore the 5 times or the 7 times that it actually did work. We go, oh, it missed 3 times in a row. The RNG must be screwed up, when that's not necessarily the case. Does that make sense? So I don't know if it's really the case, but I have noticed very, very frequently before, like I missed a lot of shots in a row that were 70%. Could have just been bad luck though. Who knows? So you can see he did damage to the shield, which I'm actually glad he shot first because he does more damage. He really should have shot him, but he didn't, which I'm glad for. So now we still can't get over here. However, we're going to take this guy out. The bishop, because he does a lot of damage. Still the best executions. However, one complaint I have about the executions is there's no variety. There's one animation for knights killing a pawn. There's one animation for bishops taking a rook. There's no variety. In a game like this, where you're probably going to see the same animations over if you don't skip them, that's going to get a little bit monotonous, and in fact, maybe encourage you to skip because you've seen them all before. Does that make sense? This guy... Oh, we did. That's what I was like. Why don't we have a move phase? Because we just moved, and because we just landed. Actually, you know what? I want to take out as much damage as humanly possible here. And he misses, which is fair enough. We've had actually, I don't think we've lost any 7% chance shots. We lost that 90. We missed on that 95%, which I'm still a little bitter about. But we're not going to get the secondary objective, which was to complete this within 5 turns. You can retry missions though. It's not like a once and done type situation, so you don't have to worry about that. Let's not do it bothering with grenades. Let's see if you can finish this guy off. Nope. All right, that's 2 70% in a row that we've missed.
Firing on target.
Cross your fingers. All right. Still no. Okay, there he goes. And I wish the animations were a little smoother in that regard. So, for example, he shot him. Did damage, he kind of went back to his neutral position, and then was like, oh, I'm dead, and then fell over dead. I'd like it to be a bit... Oh, we lost our knight. I would like it to be a little bit more natural. Like, if it's the last rounds, like this guy's going to die, it should more smoothly flow into the animations. And I know it seems like I'm harping on animations a lot, but again, in a game like this where you're going to be seeing the same animations a lot, I think it matters. I don't want to hop here. I actually do want to for the melee. However, the problem is this guy won't be able to shoot, and we have a less chance of finishing him off. So I'm actually going to go here. We're going to skip the animations just for now. We'll go ahead and heal this guy. We'll go ahead and have both of these guys take shots. I don't... Well, he definitely can't shoot him now. But again, so you kind of see what I'm saying? That was like the third 70% miss. But how many times have we shot and actually made it now? Obviously, way too small of a sample size to be to make any kind of definitive answer. So I'm going to try to just hop over here and capture this at this point, because it's just these two guys left. They can't really do any damage. This guy's going to murder this one. I'm not skipping this animation, of course. Why would you? That would be insane. And we'll take some shots at him. Hopefully shoot his shield off. Nope, that was a miss. Kind of thought it was.
Weapon ready.
70% again. Alright, that got him. Or at least got his shield off.
Weapon ready.
I don't even know why I'm bothering to shoot him, because we'll have already won by the time. Oh, now see, now you're just taunting. Because now I can just take you out. See what I mean? The AI sometimes not so smart. Oh, and I guess it just gave it to me since I wiped everybody out. And of course, like I said, it tallies up how you did overall. Oh, we still didn't get XP. We didn't level from that? That's kind of weird. But anyway, let's go back out. I guess you can say there's other things I want to show you, because it's not just the campaign. But again, as you can see, you can go back to other older missions if you want to get the alternate, or if you want to get the secondary objectives. And it's kind of funny because, at least so far from what I've seen, there's 2 secondary objectives, but they're always the same. One gives you bonus XP, one gives you bonus requisition. Again, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And what's cool too is when you select these missions, it'll give you a basic rundown. It'll also have an image here and show you the layout. It'll show you what units you have, both you and the enemy, things like that. So you can kind of think about it before you go in. Let's go back. The multiplayer, like I said, we're not going to really talk about that a whole lot. Let's go ahead and look at the armory. Now, the armory is where you spend your skill points. Again, right now, actually I do have 55 skill points. I thought you only got those from leveling. But at any rate, you can see there's some other abilities here. We have like Chapter Banner. Places a Chapter Banner down, bolstering the weapon skill of nearby Marines. If we had 100 points, we could unlock it. And then over here, we can customize our layouts. And as you can see, we have default layouts for Space Marine versus Space Marine and Space Marine versus Orc. So that if we're going to be fighting another Orc, for whether it be Skirmish or online multiplayer, I presume it will automatically load up the layout you chose. And of course, if you chose to be Orc, because you can choose to be Orc in Skirmish or on multiplayer, you can also change your layout here as well. So let's go ahead and back out of there. So that is to show you can customize those overarching abilities. Again, that was the abilities like the heal and the shield that aren't used by any particular unit. Those are the ones that you unlock with experience. So as far as using the... I'm getting there. Give me a second. There we go. As far as using the... I keep forgetting the name of them. I wrote it down on purpose, and of course now I forgot. The requisition points. These are used to unlock... at the very least, it's unlock some of these other armies. As far as I can tell, I think it's just skin changes, skin and color changes. Like this one takes 10,000 requisition, which obviously we're not even close to, of 180 or 840. You get this from doing campaign. So I think you can also just buy them. I'm not sure how much they are. Yeah, it's $1.39. I don't think I'll be doing that, but you can do it if you want for some reason. So they're pretty cheap, or you can just get the requisition, and you should get enough by going through the campaign. And again, I think you can also do, like within the Blood Angels, my understanding is you can also unlock customization just by doing the campaign, by doing AI skirmishes, etc. So speaking of skirmishes, what are skirmishes? Skirmishes are basically a classic chessboard. Why is it not letting me... Let me back out and go back in. It's being a little weird. Move versus AI. There we go. Alright, so Skirmish is classic layout, right? It's just a chessboard. And that's whether you choose Regicide mode or Classic. Regicide, anytime it references Regicide specifically, that's where you get the movement phase and the attack phase. Classic is chess. It's just chess with Warhammer figures. You don't have the special attacks, things like that. It's literally chess with Warhammer animations and skins. So, and obviously we'll focus more on Regicide because no point in just talking about the chess side. But it is there for those of you who are more interested in the chess side. And you actually do have another skin set here. Again, looks basically the same but with different colors. I actually kind of like these colors better. But you also can choose maps. The only thing the map does is change the look. It doesn't actually change anything. You can see again here, the map is still called Classic. I really wish they would change that. I would like to see where there's either some pre-configured maps, like challenge maps, like during the campaign, where you have to do certain things, or make it like randomly generated. I'm sure that would be quite difficult to do. But it's kind of disappointing that once you're done with the campaign, if you want to keep playing, you can only do the classic chess mode. At least that seems a little bit disappointing to me. It's not a huge deal. Again, the game's only $15, and there's 50 campaign maps, so that should keep you busy for quite a while, especially because, again, I did hear it gets more difficult later on. You can't change your color. You also can't change the time limit. You can change the difficulty of the AI. There's 5 different difficulties. I've only done an intermediate, and I'm not very good at chess, so that was good enough for me. Again, the map is just this, like, you just basically change the way it looks. You can also change who your enemy is and who you are. Again, I can switch to orcs, or I can be the Marines, or I can fight orcs, or I can fight other Space Marines. We'll go ahead and start a game. Obviously, we're not going to go through the whole thing. We'll go ahead and overwrite the save. One thing I do really like is that you can, at least during the skirmishes, you can save at any time. I'm not sure if it works in the campaign, but like if you're in the middle of a match and you need to close the game down or whatnot, you can save and quit. Now, I wish you could also just save, just in case, you know, your power went out or something, but not a big deal. You can save and quit. But again, as you can see, classic chess, we have all our pieces here. I'll go ahead and skip that just so we can kind of get to it. Again, classic chess layout. We got the queen, or yeah, the bishop rather, the queen, all of that. So let's say we'll move our queen. Actually, let's move the bishop. Again, we're not going to actually play. Oh, that's right. We did our movement round. We'll throw a grenade, or will we? Yes, we will throw a grenade. Do some damage. So again, because the way this works, you can just kill the king by doing enough damage. But as you might guess, they've got a lot of hit points and a decent amount of armor and toughness. So it's not easy to just jump in and do mass damage, because your characters or your units will get killed, especially since you only have one move per turn. So, and just for grins and, you know, getting to show you how this works, I'm just gonna do that. But yeah, this is pretty basic. Again, it's chess with guns. And what classic game isn't improved by adding guns? There isn't one. There's no game that's not better with guns. So not really a whole lot more else to show there, honestly. So once it ends its turn, I'll go ahead and quit out of here. Obviously, things like this, just going over the AI again, the objectives, I kind of forgot to do this before. Move history, you can look at the move history. So like if you were looking away or watching Netflix, you can always check that because you weren't paying attention. You can also go classic view, which I find pretty interesting there. There's also the librarium here. Librarium, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I'm sure I'm probably not. But it goes into like the various type of units, the abilities, things of that nature, for both the humans, or the Space Marines, and the orcs. Let's go ahead and save and exit. And we're kind of wrapping up here. There's not too much more to show. Also, if we look over here, it talks about bonus XP. My understanding is this is supposed to work. Basically, you get extra XP from either doing skirmishes, from doing the campaign, or from doing multiplayer. Oh, by the way, one other important thing I wanted to mention. You probably noticed there's this option here, new game versus human. This is local. So if you have somebody like with you at the computer, you can actually do versus human. You know, you choose, you know, who you want, your skins and all that. And you just take turns playing. So I make my move, and then you scoot over and make your move. So it's cool that that option is there for people who want to play some local co-op chess, basically on the computer. Again, chess with guns. But anyway, the XP bonus is, so the longer you play, the more the XP bonus builds up. But right now, I'm either doing something wrong, I'm either not understanding something, or it's not working. And I did think I heard some people again in the forums who said the XP multiplier was not working for them. So maybe there's something going on with that as well. This did just release from early access, so there might be still a few little hitches here and there. So again, and I don't know if I'm not using it right. It's one thing I wish the game did do a little bit better, that explained like, what is this? Like, how do I get this? I mean, can I get it from doing the campaign? Can I do it from the local player? I read up on that, and you can, but it's not necessarily obvious. And in fact, the reason I know that is because somebody else asked that question, because they didn't really quite understand it either. Kind of going over my list here, what else? I like that there's a lot of AI levels. That way, and assuming the higher levels are actually difficult, that way people who are good at chess will be challenged, which is nice. I also want to go over the options here. We have a lot of different UI or sound options, which I always appreciate. There's master volume. You can set the music, the sound effects, the speech, and the UI, which is great. You can also turn off character speech, I guess, if it's getting annoying for you. You go window to full screen. You can choose your resolution. VSync. You got general, like, graphical quality. I'm running on the best. And some people might say the graphics don't look that great. It's a chess game, so I don't really care that much. I think it looks good enough. It's a chess game, right? So I think it looks good enough for a chess game. I'd like to see more details in things like the animations for the kills and the shooting, and a little bit more smoothing as far as that goes. Graphics quality wise, maybe the textures could be better, but it's not something I'm going to lose a lot of sleep over. It's anti-aliasing, shadows, ambient occlusion, depth of field, high quality models. You can also turn off the kill cams, so if you don't want the whole zooming in for the kills, things like that, you can turn that off. Other options you can see here. Now also, it acts like you can change these, because there's a button that says restore default settings for your keybinds. I can't change it. Like, I've tried clicking it, so I don't know if that's something they intend to add later. Hopefully they do. I didn't really find the need to do it because there wasn't a whole lot I needed to do on the keyboard, but that would be nice if that actually worked, I guess. But I actually have, as far as bugginess, I haven't run into a lot of bugginess. I did run into one issue where, in fact, let's go ahead and just kind of play one more campaign mission while I'm blabbing it out here. I did run into one bug during the campaign where, like, I think the CPU was kind of locked up trying to figure out what to do. So there was there was literally nothing I could do. I couldn't move, I couldn't react, I couldn't do anything. I'm gonna skip all that. There we go. I couldn't do anything, so I actually had to, like, I think I had to Alt F4 the game, or I had to forfeit and do that match all over again, which was pretty darn frustrating. But that's the only time I've had that happen, but it does exist, and I didn't see anybody else on the forum complain about it, so it might have just been me. It might have just been a very rare bug that I ran into. I'd also like a take back, at least during, like, non-multiplayer, especially because in this game, left click selects, it also tells them to do something. So for example, if I say, okay, is this a knight? No, it's a bishop. Okay, so if I say, okay, I'm going to left click, typically in a lot of games like this, you left click to highlight and then right click to move. But it doesn't work like that. You left click to select and then left click to move. Now that doesn't seem like a big deal, but one time I screwed up and I had to redo the entire map because we weren't supposed to kill a certain unit. We were supposed to, or like you had to do a very specific ability versus that unit. So I had selected one unit, but then I was like, well, wait, I need to check something. So I went to click on him because, again, when you left click on an enemy, it actually like brings up their stats. So I wasn't thinking, and I had this guy selected, for example, and I left click to look at his stats, and he ended up killing him. I lost the entire map. I had to redo the whole thing. So I wish they'd either have a like a backup one step, or maybe that hurts your score. I don't know. Some kind of negative is fine. Or change it so right click is the action, left click is the select. Again, not a huge thing, but it can cause some kind of annoying types of issues. Another problem I have is that you cannot. Can I actually shoot somebody? I also have a problem with the skirmishes, and I mentioned this kind of before. You can't do like a skirmish on a map like this. It's always a chessboard. I'd like to see some kind of custom maps going on, but I kind of already covered that. Animations kind of get reused a little bit too much. I'd like to see a little variety there. As far as like if a pawn kills a pawn, maybe have 3 different animations for that. But because again, after a while, they're going to get tiresome, and you're just going to skip them anyway. And at that point, it's like, okay, well, now kind of what's the point, if that makes any sense. These bishops are nasty. Like, they have a ability where they can shoot twice, and it's pretty nasty because they do a lot of damage. You can see he just did 5 damage to that guy. And it's not like you get a positional difference just from being behind. That attack just does a lot of damage. So let's do one more movement round here. This is a knight, so we'll go ahead and threaten the knight. Again, don't forget we can always skip the animations. Let's see, suppressing fire. This keeps units from being able to attack. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, no, he can only hit him. I was going to hit the other dude. This one thing the bishops have that I like is take aim. It's you increases your damage until you move again. So if you know you're just going to try to lock down the king, for example, you can take aim, and you actually do a pretty significant amount of damage. So let's go ahead and do that now. We're not going to finish this round, obviously. I'm just going to kind of show it off again. The melee assault was a shooting with a gun, but minor quibble. Or a minor if complaint, I guess I should say. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's kill this orc. You kind of see what I mean too, where you shoot him, he kind of reacts, goes back to his neutral stance, and then dies. Again, if you're gonna in a game like this where you're gonna see these animations a lot, I would have liked to see a little bit more work done on that. He's trying to get him, but that's not gonna work, especially since you missed. But yeah, that is Warhammer Regicide. Make sure you guys let me know in the comments section below what you thought of this video and what you thought of this game. I will put all the relevant links to the game and all of that in the description below the video. Thank you guys for watching. If you'd like to see more games covered that you might not have heard of, make sure to subscribe. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.